Hello out there, this is the AMaleAlicorn and welcome to another episode of Crepuscularity Discuss. Today we want to talk a little bit about OCs, especially with a special look on pony sonars, but yeah, also OCs in general, how they are created, why do people choose certain OCs, races, tribes, whatever. And today with us, as usually, Byter, welcome to the show.
Clark.
And for the first time, Male Alicorn. Welcome, Amale.
Hello.
And hidden behind my cutie mark, Unova Brony, our host for the Aftermath. Not saying hello. Nevertheless, he's there. And finally, once again, Past Analysis. Hello, Past.
Sorry.
So, since... What? Nevertheless. Okay.
Hello.
I was the one.
That's very slow reaction time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since I was the one who came up with this topic originally, because I have my own theory why and how people pick their very own OCs, I guess it would be nice to let the guests start with their look on the topic first. And yeah, if anything is left to say, I will give my own idea later on. So, who wants to start? Past, Amale?
I might as well.
Okie dokie.
For those of you who don't know, I actually draw OCs. I do them for free mostly.
Your volume kind of dropped.
Oh, really?
When you lean back.
Oh. Well, so I actually handle a lot of OCs, and I actually see a lot of variation in the ways people make their OCs. Sometimes people are just like, give me this color scheme and make it this race, and other times people go into specific as they make their own model in the Pony Creator, and then they'll send it to me and be like, make this better. And it actually gets a lot of variation there. And people also put varying levels of thought into their OCs. Like, when I made my OC, like, it took me about a good 3 days to actually come up with what I wanted before I actually started working on it. But I've seen other people who are literally just like, I made my OC like that because we're both tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Past, do you want to follow up, or?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to OCs, I think that one thing that I notice a lot is the type of race that people choose. Typically, people choose a unicorn or a pegasi. That's just the nature of it, because, you know, they want to have magic or they want to have wings. Rarely, like, I would say that there's still a nice amount of Earth Pony OCs, and there's hardly any Alicorn OCs out there, but yeah, so I just think that the races tend to be around the same area, unicorn or pegasi, if I had to talk about it at all.
Maybe one interesting question to throw in for both of, or each one here right now. Past, why an Earth Pony?
Ah, yes. Well, the reason I chose an Earth Pony was because the Earth Ponies, in my opinion, have a lot of fertile ground for theories, no pun intended, and so it's a race that I think has a lot of historical openness to it. There's a lot that you can insert into the race because there was so much that happened. In my opinion, according to Harshforming Eve, we saw that they were essentially the slaves. And so that kind of made me think, okay, well, they probably have a much richer history than the unicorns or pegasi, so it kind of encouraged me to make an Earth Pony because I'm all into history and whatnot. So.
And Amale, you mentioned that you thought a lot about your OC before creating it.
Yeah, it actually has a lot to do with how I got into the show, because I originally started out just wanting to watch like the first 10 episodes so I can say I've actually watched it. But the first thing I caught my attention in the first 2 episodes was the Alicorns and how like they're the magical beings who rule everything, yet we don't really get any information on them. And that kind of just kept me curious about it, like for the 10 episodes, and it kind of actually made me want to watch more after that because I need these questions answered. Well, 2 seasons later, still don't really have any of those questions answered. But that's really been one of the most interesting things to me in the fandom or in the show is the Alicorns, and it's really piqued my interest and it's really inspired me to put out a lot of the content and get involved in the fandom.
Yeah.
So I figured it'd just be fitting for my OC to be an Alicorn.
Okay, Byter.
What?
Why did you choose your OC?
Why did I choose it?
What inspired you when creating him?
Well, the way I went about it was my main OC or whatever, my avatar on the internet is basically Tarboy.
Ah, yeah.
Actually, and generally speaking, people have an avatar in pony form or pony soda or something like that. So I pulled one together, but my main avatar is still basically the robot. It's much more attainable to me than the Tarboy. So I created my own OC, gave him a different name and color scheme, and made him very different from myself in some regards. So, but I still kept him a Pegasi because I'm quite an athletic sort. Blarg. I was going to say on regards of what OCs people have, Equestria Daily did do a poll on it. So the statistics are, 26% are Pegasi, 23% were unicorns, 13% were earth ponies, 5 were alicorns, 25% people didn't have OCs, and the numbers drop off from there. 2% were changeling, 1% were griffin, and 0.8% for zebras.
Okay. I guess it kind of depends where you are doing your surveys as well, because I believe on DeviantArt there was a little bit more for the rather exotic types of species. But yeah, on DeviantArt probably are also a little bit more exotic thinkers, and then on the main board, at least in relative dimensions. But yeah, I guess it's a nice segue to talk about what my personal theory is for people picking their OCs.
Go ahead. We haven't heard why you did your OC though.
Exactly.
Or me.
I actually wanted to use this as... Oh, sorry. Oh, no, you go first. Yeah, you are back. You didn't respond to the last time, so I wasn't sure if you are still there.
Sorry.
So why did you choose yours?
Well, it was a long and arduous journey for me because before I actually had 4 OCs. It was really quite crazy. I mean, like, besides the unicorn one, there was also a griffin, a dragon, and a changeling. Since I've been enamored by the amount of species Equestria has, and well, then after like a few talks with like some other podcasts, like Final and Friends, like I kind of convinced myself like just stick with like the unicorn. I mean, you're basically an intellectual scholar. You like magic. You're not really that athletic in sports. The unicorn persona does fit me, but like a male alicorn, like my OC is kind of like different because I want my OC's power to be more of creativity. So if like I've been enamored by like how changelings have been able to like change into different forms, and like I want like my OC to be like sort of like the magic savant like Twilight is. Because really, I really want to explore different fields because I haven't found my true destiny, so that's why I know Cutie Mark yet.
Flank.
Yeah.
Flank. Sorry, couldn't resist. But yeah, it still pretty much kind of works in favor of my own theory. Yes, because I, for example, picked a nurse pony because I thought of them as the most subtle ones. Because, yeah, even though I like fooling around a lot and going down the crazy lane often enough, I in the baseline of all my reviews is that I take stuff rather serious and try to be in a certain level very subtle, very mature. I guess a good example for this is my recent video where I dared to talk about the infamous topic of clopping, and I got a lot of comments like, "Holy crap, this was so mature! I had never heard somebody talk about it this mature." So it is for me really about subtlety, about approaching things not with head in the sky and being loose about it and crazy. And so, and this is also where I got my personal theory why people choose certain OCs. Especially for their own pony-sona, probably for a majority of their further OCs as well. But especially for the pony-sona, I suspect people to take that race they can associate with the best. They can relate to the best, at least from their point of view, what they associate with it. So, for example, I associate with Earth ponies a certain level of subtlety, of athletics as well. Looking at Applejack and so. So I picked an Earth pony for myself because I think of myself, or at least I want to be rather subtle. And yeah, so I came up with an Earth pony. And for example, I know that Byter took a Pegasus because he associates with Pegasi sports, athletics, dynamic. And so he picked a Pegasus for himself. And I myself wouldn't have picked a Pegasus because I associate Pegasi with head in the clouds and not level-headed. And yeah, also interesting, no offense, a male, but for, I often consider people who have going down the Alicorn road of things, but I know that in your case reasons behind choosing a male Alicorn are more subtle, but a lot of people just take an Alicorn, best with bat wings and black with red mane and stuff like this, because they enjoy, it's their pony-sona and it's their wish to be this badass and powerful being. So it is kind of a mixture between between actually relating to the pony-sona you create and kind of wish projection. This is my theory.
Yeah, I actually put out a video like a week ago now, I guess, and in it explained like why I chose my OC in a bit more detail than I gave you guys. But like half the comments I got were just other people with Alicorn OCs, like saying why they did theirs. And like I said earlier, one person was just like, I chose my Alicorn OC because we're both tall.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I actually replied to the comment, like asking if that was really all, because I was actually kind of stunned that that's all the thought someone would ever put into making an OC, and they just like responded back. It wasn't even like a grammatically correct sentence. It was like, my OC is made out of love and tender, I guess, is what they meant, I guess, but it wasn't really even what I was asking.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of the negative stigmatism towards the Alicorn OCs comes from. It's because people think that, oh, well, they're just doing it to have power. They're just doing it to be the best, most powerful being ever. You know, your reason, I would say, is more well thought out because you're doing it more because of the open space and the creativity that you can insert in there. So,
I thought he was still said he was very much inspired by them being rulers, by being in positions of power.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, but it's also probably a reason a lot of people choose a powerful. But it's still the whole.
Then what was the thing that you were disappointed that they didn't fill in the details in the 3 seasons you have watched?
It just kind of interested me, like, well, I guess it kind of did say that at the beginning, but that's not really what I was putting the emphasis on. It was that the they play such a big role in the whole how Equestria works, yet we have no information on what they actually do other than like, they raise the sun, and we don't really know how they do it, why they do it. We don't really know much about anything of them.
Because they seem to be the more or less only immortal beings around. Or
Yeah.
So, yeah. Go ahead.
AMY, I like to post talk about like our unicorn OCs. It's kind of obvious why there's a lot of people that would like to use unicorn OCs since they kind of relate to unicorns as sort of like the more intellectual species of Equestria, the more gifted, you know, sort of like alicorns, but to a lesser extent. You would see usually like people that associate themselves with like art a lot more have those sort of OCs, and I'm just an example of one of them, you know. Like I chose my OC because I felt like I would be weak in sports. I'm really gifted in my mind, and well, it would make a perfect fit with me. So, yeah, unicorn OCs.
Though I don't think that we should like discount the other races as being smart, because like that's one of the reasons why I was encouraged to make an Earth Pony OC, because I thought that there's probably a lot to them that, you know, people aren't looking into. Let's give it a shot. Let's look into that race, because I think that the fact that they don't have a horn, they don't have wings, they are essentially the not slaves, but they're the lowest caste of citizens. I just felt like there was a lot that you could put in there, and so yeah.
Past analysis. Yeah, but there's some pony species even lower than Earth ponies. Have you ever seen anyone use a crystal pony OC?
No.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I really
about crystal
associate.
ponies, though. We just kind of like saw them in the background walking around. It's like,
I really associate with how bland they were.
yeah.
also,
The time that librarian remembered their job reminded me at the time I remembered I had hands.
also, probably one problem behind not a lot of people having Crystal Pony OCs is that maybe the Crystal Pony update hasn't come out for General Zoid's Pony Creator.
Yeah.
Well, he's not doing that, updating it anymore, is he?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you all are familiar with with the Pony Creator as well.
Who isn't?
Who is it?
Yep.
Seriously. It's like the only thing that's official in the fandom. If you're looking for a pony creator, look no further than General Zoid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess
So-
I want to say a good thing about General Zoid's Pony Creator, because I believe a lot of people can't stand Pony Creator pictures. I don't know how it is for you, Amale, because I guess you get a lot of Pony Creator created ponies as templates for OCs to create.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you enjoy seeing those, or?
Well, I can't really respect the Pony Creator OCs just because I see them everywhere, and it's like, oh my god, it's just the same thing over and over again, copy and paste and recovered. But at the same time, like if you just look at a single one on its own, yeah, it's great. It's just like everyone has the same thing, so it's like it's kind of lost its value.
Yeah, it's a
I
little
think
bit.
it's more also just it's a very flat angle. It's perfectly 90 degrees, so it's not a very dynamic pose. It's always just it's a pose for designing your OC, because you're just looking at it side on. It's not actually. It's very hard to make it do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty much the point where I was going with. The Pony Creator is an awesome point to start off, because to start from, because you can go there. I did it myself. You can go there and just put elements together, just experiment very conveniently how certain elements do look. And yeah, for example, for me it was like, okay, Earth Pony, first question, and make it bigger, make it adult, okay. Then I could play a little bit with the scales. Then for the color scheme it was very comfortable or very convenient, because I just could take the colors from my ANY, my previous ANY thingy. And yeah, it was very good for experimentation, but I created exactly one pony with a pony creator. I created a second one, but I hated it so much it's already deleted. It's the only version of my OC I ever got rid of because it was so terrible. I used it in only one video, I believe my very first one. It was a salute pose, and I made it with Pony Creator, so you can imagine how it looked.
Oh
yes.
My, AMY,
Yes.
AMY, you have no idea how much I hated that. It was like one of the things that made me almost click away from your video and got more attracted to Digis. I'm sorry, it's just that your pony OC with Pony Creator just looks soulless with the eyes.
Yes. Yeah, but this is the thing. It is for really designing your OC, it's a good starting point. But as soon, because a lot of people going especially into video production, they started out creating the OC in Pony Creator. Then they made a few poses for their OC in the Creator, and then you have a video with one of the default backgrounds. This is already when you see the forest or Ponyville from the Pony Creator. Oh no, the castle, the Royal Pony System castle background. Oh, yeah, it is really, when you see those, it is not that these backgrounds are bad, but it is just you see them. It's like a male said. You have them seen so often, you get sick of the view.
If I could put it in perspective, it's like Rainbow Dash has an awesome color scheme. She's all rainbow and awesome. But it's like if every other Pegasus had some rainbow multicolored scheme, it's like she really wouldn't be that awesome. And she'd just kind of fall into the crowd.
I think it's it's more just sort of you recognize it and the effort that went behind it. That it's more just contempt through familiarity than anything.
By the way, past you, I don't know, you try to get into the conversation, or?
Yeah. When it comes to the Pony Creator, I recommend using it as a start. That's what I did. I had a friend who I then gave creative freedom to work off of what I made, and then later on I gave further creative freedom to Brony Curious when he was putting it in his style. So I really recommend that if you go to the Pony OC Creator, I would recommend that you then work off of that. Either create your own OC or have someone work off of that. So I wouldn't recommend starting there because, like Byter just said a second ago, it does show that a little bit of effort was put into your OC. Not much. And people don't typically like seeing that.
Yeah, it's best as a starting point where you can mess with the sliders and the various different options.
Yeah. Also, there's a big risk in Pony Creator to overload your pony because there are so many features. I'm already on the borderline with having glasses and a vest. Even so, I think it's still within the borders. But yeah, if you look in the show, whom of the main six wears anything? None.
Rarity, sometimes.
Applejack.
Yes, sometimes, but their default look is wearing nothing. And also, most original background ponies, nothing. In Canterlot and the big cities, there are more clothes. But and it is cool. You just click on it, and you'll see suddenly, I don't know, wears a ring around the hoof, and you click again, and then you have I don't know, a cool hat, a cape, And
Multiple accessories can be done well.
yes.
It's just in Pony Creator, they don't really merge together because they're generally not in the same style and don't have anything to do with one another. Like, I did one OC, it was like a military OC. It had the vest, it had like a friggin' sniper rifle next to it, it had the helmet, it had like little goggles on the helmet, and it looked great as a finished product even though it had so much on it.
It's not even just the clothing, though. The thing gives you lots of options in everything else, that you can have various different types of horns, wings, different types of coats, and so forth. The problem often with people making their OCs is that they over-design it. They just keep throwing on cool things when the actual aesthetic of the show is incredibly minimalistic.
Yeah, how goes the saying, pure elegance in its simplicity? But I believe Past is again trying to cut in.
Yeah, one thing that I want to add is Brony speak when he made his OC. I remember I was so like drawn away from it because he had so much on his so many accessories on his OC. He had a lab coat, he had a watch, I think he had rings, he had a weird hat on him. Like, it was just too many accessories and none of them matched. But he fixed it. So that was just the one thing I wanted to add, is that they can really turn your viewer off from watching you because there's too much to look.
A great chance of over-design in the Pony Creator, and you have to try and be minimalistic and choose, like, it's best having only one or maybe two things, unless you want to do something unique.
Yeah, as for example, Golden Fox just said, Paleo has only glasses, so he is also going the very minimalistic way, and his OC is fine. Another good example is, for example, Brony Dance Party. He is, I believe, an Earth Pony, completely minimalistic, and he's just playing a little bit with the colors because he is blue with yellow mane and tail. So the colors, the opposite colors, I don't know the English, right? Complementary colors? Is this a word in English?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Depends if you're talking about pigments or the light spectrum, but I really don't like his color scheme, though, because it's just like an eyesore, kind of. It hurts my eyes to look at it just because of the direct contradiction between the colors. They don't really go that well on ponies together, anyways.
Sometimes, like, besides you, AMY, when Season 3 came rolling around and I was looking for reviewers, anyone heard the Wilsonator? The guy that did, like, the Brony version of, like, the beggar, Doug Walker impression? Yeah, like, his OC was, like, it was, like, over-designed, like, I could get what he was trying to go for with, like, the vest and the glasses, but it felt a bit too much.
Yeah.
Though it worked for you, AMY.
Yeah.
I think one big thing to look out for is don't oversaturate your OC. And that's what you were just talking about a second ago, Male Alicorn, is that he oversaturated the colors. They were just too glaring to the eye.
Yeah.
The ponies are pastel colored, but they're actually quite earth tony in some regards.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Twilight. She's purple, but she has not a very radiating purple, but rather decent, subtle purple. Who else? Fluttershy, also very, very subtle. Even Rainbow Dash, with her coat and everything, she doesn't, with her turquoise coat, she doesn't look even though she is a color scheme, she doesn't look too radiant with her colors. There's still a certain quality.
And you can have an oversaturated part of your OC, but you need to make sure that there's only like one area that's oversaturated. For example, in the show Pinkie Pie, I would say that her mane and tail are pretty saturated, but the rest of her body isn't that saturated, so it's not incredibly like glaring to the eye.
Yeah, like I feel like you definitely need like soft colors in your OC. I mean, you can have oversaturated colors, but you need to have the balance with like soft colors. You know, like
Yep.
Yeah, the biggest thing I notice when I'm getting the colors for OCs that I'm making is there's this little slidey bar that's the the bottom is like the darkest shade of the color, then the top is like basically white, and you slide it up and down. And I never find myself using like the very middle of that bar, just because it always looks horrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone want something to add?
Anyway.
I was going to say a little thing. Imagine if Purple Twilight with like bright lime green hair.
Oh!
Yeah, that would be very, very just harmful to the eyes.
Yeah. But, Amale, I believe you have a certain set of advice or some, I don't know, rules, a manual, whatever, to go down when you come up with an OC.
Yeah, when people request an
Oh, you're quiet again?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess it is...
Speak up.
Yeah, you're allowed again. I guess
but-
it's a auto-adjust thingy in your PC, I imagine.
Probably.
Okay.
But when people come to me and they want me to make a OC for them, and on the rare occasions, thank God, when they don't already have a pony maker created, I have a little list that I basically have, and I send to people for them to fill out that basically tells me what they want, but still gives me a lot of creative freedom to do what I think looks good. And starts off pretty obvious, like the gender, the race, and then it gets more in like the chin type, like round or pointed, the hoof type, where you can have the little fuzzy thing, or just a normal hoof, the coat color, main color, secondary color, if there's any, the mane and tail style, like curly, messy. It can get as specific or just straight up saying like cadence but shorter, as people want, and eye color, cutie mark, and accessories. That's basically it.
One thing that I would recommend to people who are making a new OC is I'd recommend trying to make your mane and tail pretty creative. Sometimes people do use a very common mane from the show, and it's overly noticeable. Sometimes they do it well, but it's easier to like take someone's mane like Rarities or Fluttershy's and do a, and not make it very different. Whereas, but for example, Rainbow Dash's mane, if you take out the color scheme, it doesn't really remind you of her mane much. For example, Paleo Steno, his mane is the same as Rainbow Dash's, but it's not, all colorful and rainbowy. So.
Yeah, last OC I actually did, the person told me to basically do the mane and tail basically like Rainbow Dash. So I basically just copied that and stripped away the color, shortened it a bit, and slapped it on there, looking completely different.
Yeah.
Another good idea you should do is like I never even came up with the concept for like my mane and tail. I actually had some guy in Twitter by the name of Lyoko Travels. He was doing like free sketches, and it's like saying like, "Ooh, sketch my OC," and when I got it, like that main style, like I decided to keep it in, and now look at my OC now. It's definitely unique in some aspect.
Yeah.
The thing is with all these things, you're making an avatar from the show, but the show to begin with is already very minimalistic and very copy and paste already. That all the ponies are they've already got most of the earth tones and good combinations, and there's only a few hairstyles for the backgrounds merged together. There's a lot of refill colors. So stuff like the Pony Creator does take all the stuff from the show, but we've all seen it in the show, and we sort of want it to be distinctive and not just be caramel, but with a slightly different colored mane.
Yeah, DHX actually leaked some of the pony models from the Wonderbolts Academy. I've got a friend who's my video editor now who got a hold of them, and I was trying to get him to send me over just so I could actually see what they look like. I'm guessing that they'd probably all be basically the same thing with different mane and hair color, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes it's the difficulty when making your OC, because you want it to be very distinctly you, but then there's a chance that people just mistake it for something from the show. But if you put unique stuff on it, it breaks from the art style of the show. If you put a watch, a vest, a hat, and everything else on.
Yeah.
That's why the biggest thing you can do, in my opinion, to make your OC unique is just get a good color scheme and a hairstyle. Like, there's not much else you can really do. Just make yourself unique as possible in those two aspects. And if you really feel that you need to add like sunglasses to your OC, then you might want to rethink what you did with it.
It's not necessarily you're aiming particularly for uniqueness. You're aiming for it to be distinctive.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess one certain circumstances where it is kind of okay if you want to create a whole theme, because, for example, there are completely just what comes up to my mind of it when you. Most of the time when you're going crossover and you create a crossover OC and then you usually put them in full clothes and give them a lot of items and stuff, but it's all within one theme. For example, military one, then he has a jumpsuit, a helmet and stuff like this, or what they did with this other look with the aviator glasses and the flying vest, stuff like this. When you go within a theme, you can use more, but usually...
Yeah, a good example of that was the Equestria Daily banner a few days ago. It's like E3D, like the play on E3.
The banner they had, yes.
Yeah, and it's like a Fluttershy as Lightning from Final Fantasy 13, then Rarity as the Tally Zora from Mass Effect, and then I believe one of them was like the horse from the Legend of Zelda games. Then I don't really know what the third one between those were, but
it was Zecora, and I don't know what she was dressed up as.
Yeah,
I think it was a Star Wars character. I mean, it was weird. Like, I remember those markings from like some sort of tribal species. Ugh.
Yeah, it's generally though we're taking our very minimalistic style for the base characters and throwing them into a very distinctive clothing. So for a pony to become Darth Vader, you just need to make them wear the Darth Vader mask. They don't need the whole costume, really, though a cape does help.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, remember in Rundabout Academy, one of the ponies was black with yellow stripe? Did anyone find that one strange? Like, it fits so well, even though it's so different.
Yeah, it's because when they make a pony a darker shade, they tend to actually, I don't remember that well, but whenever I get a request for like a black OC, what I end up doing is I make the outline like a lighter gray, just so it still stays with contrast. I don't actually remember if that's what they did with it, but that might have been what caught your eye if they did.
This is, for example, what I did with my vest. My vest is black as well, so usually you try to go with a slightly darker version of the color you use to fill something. A good example is the hair of my OC, and Byters' whole OC uses this way to go. A male, not necessarily, because he has gray outlines for his hair, but yeah, it's going pretty much the way he just described. Past has completely black outlines, but this is a different art style. This is chronic, yeah, exactly. And the thing is, usually you go with slightly darker outlines than the main color, but of course, when you use black as the main color, this is kind of getting tricky. So this is the thing I looked up for my OC because of the black vest, and in this case you just go the opposite direction by taking a similar color but a brighter one. So there's still enough contrast between the outline and the filling.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole thing with color. Like we said, it's a nice color palette, but it's also where you put the colors. You want your eye, or the person looking at its eye, to flow to the right places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I find particularly very, very black dark coats, it's just sort of forms a big giant black hole. So even if you have got a nice kind of contrast of a very light mane or something, it's just like it's a mane bobbing on top of a black hole. It doesn't draw your eye.
Never go with a pure black in an OC. Always tone it down.
Yeah. A good example is even Thunderlane, the one black back pony in the show, they really toned down that color. And it's not overly black in the show.
It's not Thunderlane, Thunderlane.
No,
But,
Thunderlane is a little black. I'm looking for the image right now. Seriously, I know it's there somewhere in Wonderbolt.
yeah, no, there's also...
Pony with like a zebra.
No.
But the black one, the really black one, where that can be seen in the opening of the Wonderbolt Academy with the black and yellow hair, as far as I know,
in Hurricane Fluttershy? Wasn't he also in Hurricane Fluttershy?
Thunderlane?
Yeah, he was.
Thunderlane was in there.
Thunderlane was from Hurricane Fluttershy, and he was also in Wonderbolt Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's quite light black, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like grey almost.
Yeah, this black, this OC was, as far as the really black one was made, was actually an OC by an animator's child, as far as I know. But yeah, I kind of allowed the, because yeah, we're kind of a little bit slowing down. I gave the chat the idea to ask questions directly to us.
Well, I have some inputs if we want now.
Yes. So one question to me, but I guess I can give it to to anyone. It's not any. It's literally. Oh God! Why did I choose this terrible pun as a name? To anyone. Actually, to anyone, not to me. To anyone. God damn it! What should you stay away from while making an OC? I guess we already had a few things like oversaturating colors, like overloading your OC with too many details just to make it stick out. Anything else?
Sombra syndrome.
Elaborate.
What's that?
Basically, the idea of like putting black and red into like an OC, like in order to make it like it's supposed to make it more manly or like that type that type of stereotype the fandom has.
There's a reason why everyone was calling Sombra a bad OC when they saw him.
Yeah. Yeah, being black and red doesn't really mesh together.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed too when someone has a Pegasus OC is a lot of times they'll like put the wing when it's like in the folded position like really far up into the body, and they'll kind of like make it smaller too so that the cutie mark is still visible, and it a lot of times just doesn't go over very well. It's really hard to do.
This was going to actually play into a topic I was talking about that I want to bring up was the nature of OCs aren't just avatars that can be used in stories, fanfics and whatnot, but the whole thing going into making a OC is why you're doing it. What are you aiming to achieve? How is the OC going to be received? If you might want to make a villain guy, and you might want to actually go for the Sombra thing if he's just a generic bad guy.
Yeah, I guess you don't want a evil villain who's a bright pink with a lime green mane.
Yeah, or you don't want him just to be a generic-looking pony unless you're really wanting him to be a subversion of normality. But if you wanted to go for a villain, you might want to do a different race of creature, or go for more villainly colors. Yeah.
I think the Equestria girls, when they were still ponies, did a good job with Sunset Shimmer because she stood out. Yeah, she still fit in with the show.
Quiet again.
Yeah.
Really?
Still quiet.
I'll just sit up.
Yeah.
Okay, by the way, I transferred a few questions in the Hangout chat, guys.
He was saying that I do agree. I think the Starship Shimmer's color scheme was very standout and vibrant. When she was even in pony form, making her very distinctly a villain without having to do the glowy eyes of death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other things is like when people are designing OCs for fics and whatnot, they often want the design to inform the story and the story to inform the design. The difficulty sometimes is that they may keep the OC kind of normal, but the story gets over-designed itself.
Yeah.
There's often a huge focus when people making fics to over-design their characters or try and think of the most epic sweeping things ever whilst keeping the ponies normal. or having a small slight thing like them having a broken horn was cut off them when they were born in Tartarus. The difficulty I think is this does actually relate though to having Alicorn OCs. The nature of them in the show always being so important, and quite a large number of people like them because they like the importance of it. But some of them want to try and understate that by making their Alicorn OC's backstory just like, yeah, he's an Alicorn, but he's a greengrocer. It doesn't really work like that. Like you could have like a Draconicus OC and call him a greengrocer, but the thing is we're always working from the show, and that's actually kind of a huge weakness with the whole kind of difficulty with OC-ness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that when you're making a pony OC, it's okay to go out there, let's say make a Draconicus or make something like that, but if you're trying to make it something that has a story behind it, something that is supposed to be like supposed to be able to fit into the MLP universe, I wouldn't recommend going too far out there. I'd recommend being a little more generic.
Yeah, I might actually recommend staying away from the Pegasus a bit.
From what? Stay away from what?
From
The Pegasus.
Pegasi.
Huh.
Because really the only two, the Pegasi that are in the main 6, Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy, they're kind of not the stereotypical Pegasus. Because Fluttershy is like the scared one that doesn't really like to fly and likes to be on the ground with animals. Then Rainbow Dash is like the super good flyer who's basically flying as her special talent and racing and stuff. But it's like we don't ever get a really good look at a normal Pegasus. So even blending in a Pegasus to normal equestrian society can be pretty difficult.
Yeah, though the one time we do see a huge society of Pegasi, it is Cloudsdale, and they're all making all of the weather. So it'd be probably assumed. And when we see them in history, they're quite militaristic.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, this is actually this is what I don't think you picked up much on in terms of a lot of you guys said, oh, these races are seen as X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
they're seen as grounded or athletic or X, Y,
I
and
was
Z.
trying to bring that up earlier, just in.
Yeah. The thing was, like I said, with my choice of Pegasi, it's just I'm a very agile person. That's what I'm physically quite good at. But I didn't really care much about what the roles of the different races were when choosing my race. I didn't say I am an athletically minded person. I said I am athletic.
Yeah.
I am quite athletic, but I don't spend a lot of time doing it.
Yeah.
I am a quite actually more robotical, logical, but I didn't make my OC necessarily a robot or a unicorn or something. I didn't know whichever would fit being a robot best.
Even so, you got a nice picture of your OC as a robot by now, I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Little
forgot to
Aurora.
ask you if you want me to use this in the show from now on. Sorry.
It might be a cool idea, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
remind me next time, otherwise I forget again. But yeah, we still got a few questions. There were, I believe, more questions like about the other races, like non-pony OCs in general. I believe we kind of tackled it a little bit, but not really with focus on it. I mean, yeah, we got... I'm not sure if Zebra counts in this because it's still very, very pony similar. I guess the ones like Draconis and Griffins are... there are very few templates to go along, so it makes it very easy to stick out. But on the other hand, it makes it quite difficult to achieve in the first place because, yeah, except a little bit of Gilda in Season 1 and this French cook Griffin in Season 2, we don't have a lot of Griffin poses to go on. So, yeah, you either have to be very creative with your very own creations on poses, in regards of poses, or, yeah.
There's I would actually say just mentioning you missed out changelings because changelings are twice as common as zebras and griffins.
Yes. Yes. Right, they really spiked in popularity. Good point. Yeah, they are also very pony equal. So you can still use, for example, pony poses, but you just had to cut a few holes in the legs, and yeah. Even so, yeah, they are like the creepy cool version of ponies. So I guess this is why they are still good to go with. Yeah,
I do like to see how much variation there is with the changelings, though, because people do amazing things with the changelings, even though there's only like one changeling in the show other than Queen Chrysalis. That's just a bland changeling. Like Choco, she has a great changeling OC.
Yeah.
It's usually by adding in like one bit that's really like one color.
Yeah.
Or coloring in one bit as a different color.
Yeah, and Pikelton, of course, I believe he just posted links to his stuff. He is also working with changeling designs very much. Yeah, but for example, Draconis, I believe so far I have only seen one Draconis original character. He was created by the same guy who made the comics I featured in my Season 4 wishlist, I believe. And yeah, I don't know how he's called, but this artist is
Grievous fan.
Yes, Grievous fan. Thanks. Oh, you are on fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grievous fan, for example, he hasn't featured him a lot in his artwork, but he actually created a second Draconis. He is a little bit smaller than Discord. He has dark hair and stuff like this. But this is actually the first, if we don't count Rule 63 version of Discord, I forgot her name. But yeah, really original Draconis. It's the only one I have seen so far.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen a Draconis OC, to be honest.
Yeah, Discord is sort of that one big huge role, and he's the big huge villain. So people very much know that when you're choosing Draconicus, you're sort of ripping off Discord.
Yeah.
And the thing, at least with an Alicorn or whatnot, is it's the same as any other pony, just with both pieces.
The thing about Draconis is that they are introduced in the very opening of Elements of Return of Harmony by Cheerlee as a species. She says, oh, this is a Draconis and he resembles Discord. So apparently Draconis also is a species.
Well, no, I thought she just said it is a Draconicus, which is XYZ. I didn't think it was, and Discord is a Draconicus. I was just, this is a Draconicus, Discord.
Yeah.
But Draconicus still kind of resembles that there could be multiple.
I'm not sure. It's, even if there was like if Discord was distinct, you could give a name to his species.
Yeah, like, I'm sure they have some kind of species for Cerberus, even though there's obviously only, or as far as we know, one.
Yeah, we'd call it like a two-headed dog. It's not a member of the two-headed dog family. Three-headed dog family.
Okay. What about dragons then? You know, like I've seen on various structures about dragons. I actually saw Lauren Foss's original design for female dragons, and it was pretty hot.
Yeah, again, I think that if you're making just a pony Sona, you know, the world's the limit. Just go ahead, make a dragon out of it, doesn't matter. But if you're actually going to be trying to put it into the show, I think a little bit. I mean, you had a lot more freedom than if you were to make a Draconicus, but...
I believe Dragon, on the one hand, but since Dragon Quest we have a lot of templates.
There actually is a large variety in dragons.
But the thing is, Dragon is as original as commonly used fantasy creature as you can go. I mean, we have rather rare creatures featured in MLP, like the
Diamond Dogs. Diamond Dogs.
Yes. Oh, Diamond Dog OCs. This would be funny. But yeah, even so, I believe I have seen one or two. But yeah.
Never seen a Diamond Dog OC.
I haven't even seen a Minotaur OC.
Oh, I actually made one for League of Iron Will in the chat.
Ooh.
A few days ago. It's not so
But
much
that's
a
Iron
Minotaur,
Will.
it was like Yeah.
It's not an OC.
No.
No, it actually was a bit different. It wasn't a full-on Minotaur. It was like the upper half of a Minotaur, but with like the lower half of a Centaur. So it was not really. There's not ever really been an official word created for it. I just call it a Minotaur. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Mini Centaur.
There's the fanfic OCs was a question that came up. I don't know how many really famous ones are there, because most fan fiction characters are either based on show characters or they just exist within the fiction they're in. The only one I can think of top of my head that really got a great fellowship within the fandom, even outside of its original creation, was Nyx, the incarnation of Nightmare Moon's powers, but as a separate individuum. So there is a Luna and a Nightmare Moon in this universe, but this Nightmare Moon was, even though she was created out of all the elements that used to be Nightmare Moon, she developed a very own personality, and she is good. She is not evil. She is not still driven by the hatred that Luna once experienced. And she got her own Ask Tumblr. I've seen it. She got a lot of fictions, not written by Penstroke, but by other people. So yeah, she really... I went black for some reason. I have no idea why. But yeah, I don't know how many OCs that were able to extend out of their own story they were created for. Do you know?
Little Pip and a lot of characters from Fallout Equestria, for one example. Thank you, Knight 5.
Did they leave Fallout Equestria? I mean, except other Fallout Equestria stories and a lot of fan arts centered around Fallout Equestria?
They don't really cross over. There's Snowdrop is an OC, but it's mostly fan art of just her.
yeah.
Not particularly throwing her across into different fics, but they're still OCs, and they're still ones that have captured people's eyes. Like they actually worked. They weren't over-designed. They weren't Mary Sue's. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the story OCs don't have that big of a visual preference or presence, because when you're reading a fan fiction, you're just reading it. They can describe the character all you want, but really the only way they can really communicate exactly what a character looks like is if they were to, say, put a picture of the character in the cover art for the fic, or if they were to actually do a bunch of art of it themselves, or like make it a visual kind of thing, with like a video, with like what Brony Curious is doing with Recovery, I guess.
Oh yeah, something strange, like when I was looking at the chat, I click on this link to like a review, and then here's the strangest OC I've ever seen in my life. Think about like a metallic pony, but with his head being a brain.
When you have it on your stream, on your screen right now.
Oh yes.
Do you want to make a screen
I
share
remember that game.
so we can see it?
A screen share? There's screen share in this thing?
Yes. Okay.
I've actually
Just
seen this dude quite a few
send
times.
me the link so I can make the screen share.
I already got I already
okay.
sent you the link.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, that OC,
Name.
as OC, it's pretty
God.
pretty
Oh, man,
interesting.
there's no question.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen?
Overdone it, away from it. But
Is this even an OC anymore?
You're so quiet, Alicorn.
really?
Yeah, that's why he's speaking over you.
Oh, sorry.
Anyone?
Oh my God.
I was just saying, anyone seen a terrible OC ponies Tumblr? I know Lethal has. Where they post some of the worst OCs ever.
Give me a link to that.
I did just do so in the stream.
Oh.
Idea. Let me put this one on the big one. So is this still a really an OC? Is this still a pony? I don't know. This is just one weird thingy. Huh. What the hell am I looking at? I don't know.
But,
yeah, To answer the
terrible
question, have I ever seen one terrible OC? Yes, I just did.
Just go to terrible OC ponies, and I think they're doing it terrible on purpose, but just absolutely patchwork ponies with hundreds of colours all over the place.
Oh my god! This is crazy. How many rainbows?
A lot of rainbows.
Let's see, have there been other questions? We talked about griffins, draconis, we talked
Never
about...
seen diamond dogs.
Yeah, diamond dogs, very rare.
Villains mostly is the thing. They aren't really that visually pleasing either. You just don't sort of want your avatar to always be a horrible diamond dog.
Okay.
At Byter. What? My eyes, they are burning. I don't know if you understand it, if it is an inside joke.
What?
Byter. Okay, I found something.
Oh
really
no,
funny
he's
from
looking at the link I shared with the
Okay.
terrible OCs. No, that's why.
I see.
With all the rainbow ones, and that was what Una was commenting on earlier.
Oh yeah. You know what, guys? I guess we'll put the link to this beautiful page in the description later on YouTube.
Yes.
So everybody can share in the joy of terribleocs.com or whatever the name is.
Or examples of what your OC should not look like at all.
Yes, yes.
Someone has a diamond dog OC. Oh, just posted.
Ooh.
So there actually is one.
Nice.
So
Yeah, as I was saying on the topic, it's kind of a bit weird with the whole. The Equestria starts off with so much baggage already with how certain characters are supposed to act. Like whenever you see the shorthand, whenever you're producing an OC, you have to remember is if you're producing an Earth Pony, people are going to assume him to be some kind of merchant or farmer. Whereas if they're a unicorn, they're usually assumed to be some ponce and living up in Canterlot or in the library somewhere. And if they're Pegasi, they're usually assumed to be living in clouds and probably going to be doing something, making the weather. This is good shorthand, I guess. The problem is, of course, though, it just throws people into certain buckets, which I don't really totally like. But and that is probably also why so many don't necessarily always equate with the Earth Ponies with being a farmer.
oh well, I was just on the page in question. Getting my own dose of terrible OCs. Yeah, has any of you guys still some input about OCs you want to share with us?
Well,
because what Byter just said is, you can say they're all farmers and whatnot. That's the nice to make, but you should be limited by that. I don't think that you should. Earth ponies can only be farmers or merchant in Earth Pony OC. I would recommend that if you want to make an Earth Pony OC, make it.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying that people assume they're always that. It's just that that's a natural assumption to make when you see an Earth Pony.
Yeah.
That most of them, if not all, are always assumed to be that before you hear the backstory. That if you see an Earth Pony, that the person is saying, "This is my avatar, and I associate mostly with the farmer class." Because that's how the three races are split up. They're sort of split into classes rather than being all equal, egalitarian, I guess.
Also, chat, if you still got any topic-related questions to us, start your post with an ad. I guess we still can answer a few more. Otherwise, we would move on to the aftermath, I guess. So, but yeah, we have to ramble on for a few minutes to give the chat or the opportunity to actually answer my...
okay, I have an idea. I have an idea, AMY. Let's talk about Donut Steel.
Well, a lot of explosions, I guess.
I thought he was just playing
well,
into
we kind of covered this question in the opening.
It's just playing into the tropes, isn't it?
And Sibera, we kind of answered this also just before you came back.
Donut Steel is just it's playing so much into the tropes of the overdone stuff, and they make him an Alicorn because all the Alicorns are mostly usually Mary Sue insertion characters. Yeah. So yeah, like always just changing his horn to be something silly, like one time wearing a banana on his head.
Yeah, or an ice cream, or a foil hat thingy like. Yeah.
I think the foil hat was to hide the horn for Fluttershy.
I mean, it is a parody, so it is. It was quite funny. I believe I liked it, but it's not necessarily a video I will watch every now and then because it was the same gag. It could have been cut shorter. Was just going on and more explosion and yeah. It was funny, but yeah, I got my dose of him. Do not for now.
It's a one-note gag and a one-note video, really.
So not really material for creating a series of it. Another question that came up, our color schemes. Where did our color schemes come from? Well, I can start with mine. And my color scheme is a reference to my old channel, where these colors used to be the colors of the logo. And it was supposed to turn out as already overused, but nevertheless, I wanted to make it kind of like, ooh, I'm doing the same thing, but I intentionally took this overused theme of orange-blue contrast. But because I'm an incapable idiot, it turned out mild blue and brown. But well, when I came up with a pony, brown was quite a fitting color, so I stick with it. So
brown's a natural pony kind of color.
Yes, I know, but the blue hair still makes him more MLP than normal pony. So this is how my colors came to be.
You have a slight amount of pastelness. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see that your color scheme actually came from like similar to like my color scheme.
Yeah, you got the orange blue better down than me.
The reason why I call myself Unova Brony is because I'm a huge fan of Pokemon. So my color scheme came from like the latest generation. Like I was thinking about like what color scheme for a Pokemon I should use, and then when like they released this Pokemon known as Keldeo, which was a unicorn legendary Pokemon, I was like, this color scheme, it's automatically my favorite Pokemon, and I just wanted to put those colors in my OC so much. That's why I have an orange mane and sky blue fur, because I want to show like I really do like water. It's just Pokemon, you know? You can't stop playing it.
Really? I never even started.
Yeah.
I stopped playing it a while ago.
But okay, more color schemes.
Stopped playing after the 3rd generation. Do you want to go, Byter?
No, you started to.
Okay. Well, the color scheme I chose was based on the fact that I like autumn colors, the fall colors, and the fall scheme. So my favorite color is the brown, but I thought that, you know, this is going to be multiple colors, so I thought, why not fall colors, because those are my favorite. So that's why I came up with mine.
Fair enough. Amale, and then we got Byter as the final one. And now you're completely mute.
It was really, really quiet. I hear kind of...
Okay, Byter, you go first.
I can barely hear him, but yeah, he's gone super quiet, so quiet. With mine, the thing I wanted to do obviously was,
Is that any better?
Yes.
Yeah, better.
Go back.
Okay, because I switched from my good microphone to my computer microphone. I'll let you continue.
All right. What I wanted to do with my OC when I sat down and started trying to design it was first finding a nice color palette that worked, because really the colors didn't matter too much to me. So what I did was I started with actually the gray hair, making it grey, because I'm not sure there's not that many grey hairs in the show, and not many for OCs, along with the stripe through the middle. And then just from that, I decided to, I chose the blue color, so it keeps the pastelness, because grey is quite a very earth tone. And that blue is actually very much, I think it's very similar to Trixie's blue, so Blarg. And otherwise, I chose orange eyes because I like orange.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With my color scheme, I actually originally made my OC in MS Paint. It was just really a quick sketch, and I added the purple in because, well, purple is best color, obviously. But that was just kind of like an accent in the little hair, and I actually wanted it to kind of resemble me, so I gave it the darker hair scheme. And the body, I just thought it really complemented the whole thing really well. And the outline being the same color, that was actually a mistake of mine, but it actually turned out to look really good, so I just stuck with it.
Okay. So, I guess we still got a few questions in the...
Wait, what about a Male Alicorn? Don't forget about him.
I just said...
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. So, I believe we try to answer the questions that had already been posted, but we will not go any deeper. You just answered in the chat, Byter, or do you want to say what's up with the ear? On big screen troll.
Clark,
Just
it's
a short
just,
note.
I have a bitten ear just as one slightly distinct thing, because I myself have a few scars here and there, so Blarg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Much answer.
Hans Krebs asked, like, what about inspiration for cutie marks?
Yes.
We want to talk about that?
I guess so. Cutie marks. Yeah. Okay, I guess I can go first again, because mine is again a rather short answer. It's the logo from our channel. Ta-da! That's it.
I could go next. I have no cutie mark. I still haven't followed my tone. I haven't even gone to college yet. Next question. Next person.
Oh, next person.
Oh, Pasta seems to be busy, so I guess I'll go. My cutie mark is the phoenix for... It's like a gray phoenix, for those of you who can't tell, because it's covered up by the wing. But I kind of chose the phoenix for less of it being a phoenix and more of what the phoenix represents. Like, it kind of... The phoenix is the rebirth and renewal kind of thing. And I thought that kind of really represented how, once I became a brony, I actually changed a bit.
Yeah. My cutie mark is just a book with an hourglass on it to represent my love of history and stuff like that. And it was drawn by Brony Curious to be more show appropriate. Like, not... It looks like something I would say came from the show because of how he drew it. I'm going to have to be in the second here.
I believe Byter is the last one left, right?
We haven't had your one, but yeah. My one is a letter with orange streaks on it, basically because I like... It's used to represent my love of information, of transferring information, of receiving information, and doing it in a mildly formal style. You know, it's more formal than Word, and I found a letter was quite more appropriate for the MLP universe. The streaks are orange because I like orange, and they are kind of fast because I like information being presented cogently and quickly.
Yeah. Then I believe the final question I saw in the chat earlier was about naming OCs.
Naming OCs.
Tricky one. I believe if it is a pony Sona, a lot of people don't give it a particular name. I mean, I refer to myself as an ANY pony, and at least the normal male version of my OC is ANY pony as well. I don't know, has any one of you right here a different name for your OC?
Yes.
Oh, definitely me. Definitely me.
Same.
Yeah, for my OC, I named him Craft, since his craft is basically creativity itself. He basically loves like using different magics, and well, because each of them can be their own expression of art. You know, I'm very appreciative of art, like my father.
You had a bit of a crinkling.
Yeah, I believe.
Oh no, that's not the mic. That's not the mic.
Yeah.
Nums.
Sounds like shit.
It's food. Sorry, I had to get something to eat. Getting hungry.
As I said when I started, my main OC is actually just the Tar Boy. So I went around making my pony Sona, whilst it could represent me, it could also just be a distinct, different personality. So I called him Tidon instead, because I like being different. Tidon is a Finnish word for information. Seemed fitting. And the robot Sona I called, because it's halfway between robot and Tidon, I call him Tardon.
Well, we had 25 podcasts together, and I never knew that your OC has actually a different name.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's Tidon.
25th episode special. The name is revealed.
Yeah.
Yeah. In regards to naming, it's if you have a pony, it's generally best to name it very much like the show. You know, the very cuddly, cute kind of very English words, but used as a name thing.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
a male alicorn. Does your male alicorn have a name?
No, it's my
A male
pony
alicorn.
Sona, so I don't really see the need in naming something if it's supposed to represent me.
Well, Tast?
And mine, my avatar name is the same name as my pony. I came up with it basically because I figured that the adjective noun is what the structure of a lot of in-show names are. They're different, but it's about that, Fluttershy, that type of thing. So I came up with the idea of path analysis because it has it can be easily associated with my cutie mark, and it's following the name structure. So
Why not call him like Lazy Lion?
good.
Okay. So, has any one of you closing statements in regards of the topic of OC?
Honestly,
I can, of course.
oh sorry, you go first, Byter.
No, you go.
Honestly, what we have all learned from this is just try to be original with your OC design. Don't go too far off the boundaries of MLP. Just try to make your OC with as much effort and compassion. Do not be lazy and just say, I chose this OC because it's tall, like me. Just try to be yourself as a pony, or griffin, or a dragon, or etc. That's it.
I would actually contradict that by saying it's not about being completely original. It's about being distinct. And the thing about it is you want to have a clear idea of what you're going into when you're making your OC and how and where it will be presented. Generally speaking, the show has its own themes and thematic content, so that if you choose an Earth Pony or Pegasi or a Unicorn, people will assume things about your OC depending on where you use it. Generally speaking, you want to stay very close to the show, though. You don't want to go off the beaten path by making it crazy uniqueness. The way I suggest generally making OCs is very much making avatars in other things, like D&D is how I set about doing it. I think about how this character would operate, or how they would look, and how they would interact with others, and where is it used, how is it used, and what meaning does it have in its context.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to get off now. So
Yes, we are about to close the show anyways, so I think the 4 of you for being here today, talk a little bit about OCs. I thank the chat for sticking around. The aftermath will start in a few minutes, and yes, see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.